we have a breaking news. President Trump slams Zohran Mamdani as the self-proclaimed New York City communist running for mayor. Trump has said that Mamdani's fake communist promises will fail, pointing to the failure of communism throughout history. He further added that Mamdani will not receive any support from him, despite his need for funding to fulfill his agenda. President Trump questions the point of voting for a candidate who embraces a failed ideology. This comes after New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced that he is ending his bid for re-election just 5 weeks before voters go to the polls. His withdrawal narrows the race down to Democrat Zohran Mamdani, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. Now for this, we are joined by Thomas Porteous. He's a correspondent joining us live from New York. Thank you very much, Tom, for joining us. What more can you tell us about this news?
Yes, hello once again, Asuma. Donald Trump, this is not the first time Donald Trump has been open and critical of candidate Zohran Mamdani. He, of course, has spoken about him before, labeled him a communist, which he is not, of course. Zohran Mamdani gladly calls himself a democratic socialist. He often advocates for the decline of economic. He wants free and fast buses. He is affordability. He has campaigned on, and to Donald Trump, who is of course a staunch capitalist, he labels this as communism, which is something that Republicans have done for years. And so Zohran Mamdani's policies in one of the most expensive cities in the world led him to an unprecedented victory in the Democratic primary, and it's looking likely from his double-point leads in polls that he is going to win the mayoral candidacy of New York City. And so with that, of course, comes and needs funding from the federal government, from which Donald Trump said that he is not going to give him. Donald Trump is also expected to deploy troops into New York City, which he has done right now, of course, in Oregon, and has done previously when there has been Democratic states and cities previously that he does not agree with. Of course, this is a huge development, but more of the same rhetoric from Donald Trump. Once again, this is America's biggest city. This is when Donald Trump built his life. There's a Trump Tower right down the street back there, and Donald Trump built his life here in Manhattan. And the fact that a self-quoted democratic socialist is about to win a mayoral election here is something that Donald Trump does not want. He has been vocal. Zohran Mamdani has been vocally has been a vocal opposition to billionaires, as he's going to tax them more in order to fund these cuts. And so these are Donald Trump's donors, and that is something that he does not want. Back to you.
And Thomas, do you think that this kind of rhetoric by President Trump, will it affect his popularity, Mamdani's popularity, as you mentioned earlier, that he's very popular in New York?
Well, New York is a Democratic-run city, Asuma. It has been for years now. Much like most metropolitan cities here in the United States, much more liberal than that of rural areas, where Donald Trump and his ideology and agenda obviously thrives. Of course, this won't affect Zohran Mamdani's credibility whatsoever. Donald Trump isn't very popular here in New York City, especially among the locals. We've also seen this language from Donald Trump before. America, of course, is a hugely partisan party, and we're used to Donald Trump tweeting out things like this in his very unique style on his Truth Social account. Something that we've never seen before in politics. But of course, no, that this will not change the outcome of the election. What's more likely to change and what we're more likely to see is the possibility of that Mayor Adams drop out and see if that really impacts and those voters teal off to Andrew Cuomo. We'll see when the new polls come out in the coming weeks.
Inside, we'll come back to you in a minute. Now, President Donald Trump has further hinted at substantial tariffs for furniture made outside the United States and has touted this move in order to protect North Carolina's furniture industry. This move comes amid a host of sectoral tariffs on key imports like pharmaceuticals and minerals and is expected to impact markets across the world in a severe manner. Now we go back to Thomas Porteous. He's my colleague and correspondent, joins us live from New York. Thank you, Tom, for staying with us. Now, what more can you tell us about this evolving situation?
Yes, of course, more tariffs from President Donald Trump, this time citing North Carolina's furniture business decline. Donald Trump has cited that the furniture industry in North Carolina, which was apparently ripe, is now failing due to Chinese manufacturing. Now, this is not new, and China has been the manufacturing hub of the world for years. We're obviously unsure how this is going to affect America, but this, of course, follows many other tariffs announced this week, including 100% on the likes of pharmaceuticals and others on kitchen appliances, etc., etc. So it seems that no good or service is safe from Donald Trump's tariffs. Of course, the Supreme Court currently debilitating on whether Donald Trump was allowed to put those tariffs in his April speech on select countries. However, industry tariffs are fine. That is perfectly legal. And so these will obviously come into effect. We'll see what difference they do make in North Carolina and far further beyond.
With that, I would like to thank Thomas Porteous for joining us live from New York and enlightening us with. Now, this is all we have time for. We will continue to bring you more news updates from around the world.